All right. All right. So I think I'm introducing somebody else here. Miss Diane Jamieson.
Hi,
All
Deb.
right. Hello. How are you today?
I've just been sitting here listening to all these women for the last 3 hours, and I don't even know what to talk about anymore. I mean, it's Sarah's
Yeah.
performance. I literally couldn't even talk. I'm going, I'm so glad I am not going on next because,
I know.
yeah,
I was like,
that,
oh,
that would
Emily's
have been
going to kill
awful.
me. Emily's going to kill me. But look, let me introduce you properly. Diane, again, is another friend, international bestseller. For over 30 years, she has been an international corporate and business owner facilitator in the mental health, mental wealth space, right? So I knew that you and Sarah were going to gig.
Yeah.
The topic today is going to be mental wealth. This is a girlfriend thing. This is a girlfriend thing. We talked a little bit about the kitchen. The thing that you may not know about Diane is that she used to race home from school. Okay, she used to race home from school to watch. What did you watch? I Dream of Jeannie. I
Boing,
just love
boing,
that.
boing,
I
boing,
love
boing.
that. I love that. That's right. Making magic. And the song that she loves is Calling All Angels. Calling All Angels. We all know that song from Jane Sudbury. And she is going to be giving out a gift to everybody, a PDF of a self-audit, self-care worksheet. Super important. And she's going to be giving a pretty powerful prize to one person that listens to win. We know how this works. 3 private hours. It's $4,500 to hang out with this woman for 3 hours. And you get to choose what you work on depending on really what you choose to work on. So, right, you're going to get some great time there. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so let's talk about mental wealth. This is a girlfriend thing. What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, I wanted to let you know about how we came up with the title because Deb and I were talking, and we're talking about the whole theme, which is togetherness, having each other's back, sharing. And she goes, mental health is just a girlfriend thing. I said, yes, it is. Because how many of people, I mean, I just recently was at a party, house party. It was a holiday season. Sometimes you're probably at a birthday party and hanging around, looking at people, talking, enjoying, connecting. And inevitably, where do you end up? And Deb, you already stole my thunder. You end up at the kitchen counter, right? So, and for me, it's usually because there's nibblies there. Let's face it, I like my food, and or I'm getting a glass of water. And as I'm talking, it could be somebody that I've just met or someone I've known for a long time. End up in this deep conversation. Have you ever had that? Right, where it's like a half an hour goes by, and you are still talking, deeply connecting to this one person, and everybody else is sort of walking by you and you're shoving around, but there's this exchange that happens, and we've used this word, a lot of people have used the word today, where it's sharing. And in that moment, as I'm sharing, maybe I've had a bad day, maybe I'm talking about something where one of my family members is not doing well. I'm listening, they're sharing, I'm sharing, they're listening. And the feeling that happens, and I think that Sarah used it, it's like it goes beyond just a moment where it feels great and I feel heard and someone's listened to me. There's a sense of deep connection and a sense of purpose. And in that moment, it's like, yeah, this is what we're on earth for. And I think that we don't often associate that girlfriend conversation, whether, sometimes it'll happen. I don't know, you're waiting in the Tim Hortons to get your Timmies, or you're coming out of a conference. But it's those moments where we just look around us, and something's on our heart. And we have that time when we're sharing with somebody. And it's a girlfriend thing. It happens a lot. I mean, I have other people I share with, but there's something about that connection. And have you ever had something like that for you? I want you to just put in the chat if you have. What was the feeling that it gave you? So just type in the chat, what was the feeling? If it was you that was sharing and someone heard you, what did you experience? If you were the person listening and you know that you were giving that person the space, what was it like for you to be the listener? So you didn't feel alone. You felt seen and understood, seen. And one of the things that I have heard throughout all of the different work that I've done in mental health, and I'm using that in quotes because I like to call it mental wealth, is I need to be heard. People need a voice. And it needs to be a voice with somebody that doesn't roll their eyes at you, and doesn't say, oh, well, you know what, well intended, look at the bright side of things, or, oh, well, what about this? Because then I feel like it's not okay for me to have that concern. I need someone just to hold it, to give me the space to be miserable in that moment, or to have, something that's really weighing on me that I can't figure out. And that's the sharing. And right now, the Canadian Mental Health Association in May, from May 6th to the 12th, is Mental Health Week in Canada. And get this, Deb, the theme is a call to be kind. And it's called Compassion Through Being Connected. And I've been asked to actually create a 1-hour keynote speaking engagement for a large company. Actually, it's a provincial service on compassion in the workplace. When I work with corporate leaders and I'm helping them to understand, look, mental health is a real thing. It affects even your top performers. Now, you might be somebody that's really good at just pushing through and getting things done, but maybe it's the way you feel while you're doing it that's changing. So, you asked about, so what is mental wealth? So if you look at the definition of wealth, and I actually looked it up. So wealth refers to a richness, a abundance of possessions or assets, plentiful. And if you think about, okay, so mental health is about your brain. It's about how well the components and the function is so that you can actually enjoy life. Enjoy, yes, joy, enjoy life. So that you can think more clearly instead of having brain fog and, sit down trying to do the next plan and, you make several mistakes, you reread the same paragraph. Ever had that happen? Or you are dealing with something and you find yourself less than patient these days for people's incompetencies, or, you just don't seem to have that same ability. You're a little bit more short with people that you don't really want to be. And that's just mental health. And look, I want to ask you, when that word gets used, or maybe even you peeked at the speaker lineup and you saw my mental wealth advocate, you went, well, I'm fine. I'm just fine. My mental health is no problem. And because we think about it, what comes to your mind when you think about someone with mental health problems? Put it in the chat. What comes to your mind? What are those images? Someone with mental health. Typically, what do we think of? That very end of the extreme scale, someone that's so debilitated by what they're dealing with, they can't get out of bed. The really intense version, can't function, have become depressed, maybe even suicidal. That's the image that comes to our mind. But I want to let you know there's another end. So at one end of the scale is the full disorder. The way that it affects you is quite significant. It's seriously starting to affect your ability to do day to day. Maybe it's happening most of the day long and it's going on for a long time. Other end, normal ups and downs. You've probably had some today. So you go to find the Zoom link. Where is it? I logged on to the Brent, right? It was like too late. And that's a moment. It's just a normal day to day. Or maybe somebody gives you a cup of coffee. Yes. Or you find an extra 15 minutes. Even more. Yes. Those are just the normal ups and downs. And then there's the far end. We forget, and often women forget, the middle part. That's mental health. So when you talk about, and Kim was talking about stress management, overwhelm, burnout, too many things on your plate, not feeling well, sometimes it can be physical. It's that middle ground that we don't really know what to describe, and we think, I'm fine. It's just, I just got one of those days going. So if I just take another walk, I'm going to be okay. And I want you to think about yourself and how would you define, how do you know how mentally healthy you are? So mental wealth is your willingness to consider and take seriously how you're feeling, your overall well-being. How many you invest in your shoes or in your business, or to spend time, right, to really know about yourself and take care of yourself in a certain way. Your mental health is no different. And in fact, if you take your health seriously, like your cardiovascular, you go for checkups, you need to take your brain as seriously. Because, by the way, your brain takes care of everything else. So it's this range. It's not just the one end or the other. And you may have noticed you can be having a great mental health day and then something happens. And then you're not. right? That mental wealth portfolio feels like it's going down. And if you have not been preventatively, okay, ladies, preventatively investing in your mental wealth portfolio, when those things come along, what happens to you? There's a deficit. I have experienced this and I teach this, right? So it's where the stuff that's going on in my life feels so much greater than the reserves I have in my portfolio. And when that starts to happen, now I'm starting to go, what's wrong with me? I'm starting to feel drained. You ever feel drained? Okay. And then I am forgetting where my keys are. It's not just, can't find my Zoom link. I forget that I have a really important meeting. I completely forget. I don't even show up, even though I've got alerts on my calendar. So an example I want to share with you, please don't laugh. Invite yourself to see if you've had one of these moments. This was only a few days ago for me. So I'm waking up and I'm like, yes, today is the day I feel energetic. I'm going to get all that stuff on my list done, right? So I'm making my list. I'm going to get my coffee, go into the fridge to get the creamer. So the chicken I took out the night before that I thought I was being really good about prepping, forgot to put the pan under it. What's happened? All the chicken juice running down. And I'm not talking a little spill. I mean, it has become down behind underneath those crispers that are really hard to get out. So here's a way for you to check how your mental wealth is doing. In that moment, what's your reaction like? Okay, so my head is in the fridge and I'm now going, I don't need this. I'm frustrated. I can feel the anger raising. I'm going, seriously? And then I start to notice something. The anger is starting to turn into this deeper feeling, and I'm starting to well up. I'm literally with my head in the fridge starting to cry. This is an indicator to me that this is more than just the fridge, and that my mental health, my mental wealth portfolio is not an everyday thing. Something's gone on, and I'm now going this way. So one of the first things you need to do is at least learn to check in with yourself on how you're doing. Because in that moment, I went, what is wrong with me? I mean, I'm crying over the spilt, substance in the fridge. Can you relate to that? Have you ever had one of those moments? Right? So I get my head out of the fridge and I just know I need to reach out. That's where the girlfriend factor comes in. So do you have some folks where you can just pick up the phone and go, I'm having a bad day? Because that's something that really helps you in the moment. More so, in addition to that, it's really important to also go, is this also a time where I need to extend past the girlfriend factor? Maybe this is where I need to reach out to my business coach. Maybe it's where I need to call a counselor. Maybe this is where I need to, get inspired and watch something on YouTube. Maybe I need someone else to help me with some strategies because my girlfriends connect with my heart. They hear me, they get me, but I also need to learn strategies, different things that can help me come back to myself in that moment. So the mental wealth is all those things you do ahead of time, how you manage it in the moment. Those techniques we were learning about, the deep breathing and connecting, why not? Maybe even in the fridge. And then there's the ongoing of how far do we keep reaching out? Because when I was listening to Sarah's song, I had a friend in December who reached out to me and her son had been lost suicide. Hearing that phone call, as a woman with this happening in her life, I wanted to be there for her. I wanted to share in this journey with her because that sharing in the darkness is where we find our strength. It's where we get our light shining. And from a nerdy science point of view for just a moment, when we have connection, which is what sharing with our close people gives us, there's a release in the brain. It's like happy hormones, and they go into your system and actually help your physical and mental health. They help you feel better. They help you feel belonging. They help you feel like life's okay. And maybe I'm going to be okay. And so if I could bottle that and put it into pills and sell it, I'd probably be a bazillionaire because people will take a pill. But this is something I want you to think of as you can give yourself a self-infused pill, if that even made sense, by on purpose, intentionally reaching out and connecting and finding things in your life that give you that sense of I'm not alone. And I don't know about you, but I have a large, extensive tribe. Some of them on this call because I have been through a lot in my life. And sometimes I feel like I've burned them out. So I need a new tribe to get after that, right? It's like, okay, they're burnt out. I need some people because I know that when I am in those states, I need to share with somebody so that I can connect, so that they hear me. And I don't necessarily want you to tell me what to do, right? I just need to be heard. And you can go from this great moment where I had a fabulous business call the other day, 2 days ago. Someone that's going to help me with my business. I'm writing a book. They were giving me all kinds of suggestions. I'm like, wow, this feels amazing. So I go outside and I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying finally a nice sunny day weather. 20 minutes later, I get the phone call where another one of my dear closest friends has just been diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, I know this is a network of women and this is really close to us. But when it comes that close, this is where, again, we need that social, that connection of one another. Because when I got off the phone with that phone call, the first thing that I wanted to do was share it with another close friend because the burden of that and my brain is sitting there and it's exploding, right? And I don't even know where to process that in that moment is when I need to have someone come in and share the darkness with me. So a couple things I want to leave you with in terms of how do we keep this going? Because women, we need to do this for one another. And how many of you have a circle? How many of you would actually use them? Have you ever found yourself saying, I know that they've got so much on their plate. I don't want to add more, or I don't want to bother them, or I'm really private. Anybody with me? Because this is where we got, you know what someone said, just stop it. I'm going to say something. We need to just stop that. Because I know for me, I've had some friends, I have found out later that they've been going through something really difficult. I wasn't aware of it. I was going through my own challenges. And they said to me lovingly, you know, I just didn't want to add more. And I felt like I wanted to be there for them because doing that helped me to get through it. Because when I can give, it helps to perk me up as well. So that connection thing, when you know, I have my hand on my heart here, it's like even putting your hands on your heart while you're going through things, that body connection can make all the difference. And it's no coincidence. I mean, this whole day was called Together We Can. My website is, I'm hoping that it's been posted while I'm up there. There is a PDF, as Deb mentioned, it's on there, and it's just a process to help you go, how am I doing? You know, the first thing actually on there is called pause. Pause is the first thing. Pause, stop what you're doing. How am I doing? Check in with yourself. And then what's happened? Sometimes the way you're feeling is because something happened 2, 3 days ago you just didn't have time for. You were fine. I'm fine. You didn't need to deal with it. And now it's coming out in ways you don't want it to. So pause, take a step back, decide what can help you in that moment. Give yourself permission that an action step could be, I just need to cry, or I need to be in this state. And then continue to choose what's next for me and what's right for me. And I have a variety of people. I would not be where I am without my people. And working with other coaches, I've worked with a guy, actually a gentleman named Shiraz, who has helped me immensely by helping me look at all those old patterns of believing in my head that just are my own, someone used my own glass ceiling, and breaking through that by helping myself to shift that mindset. So I hope this has inspired you to look around at your tribe. Maybe it's time to reevaluate, maybe it's time to add, to give more of, and that you'll just use this as a way to just shine.
Yay. Love, 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 love. Thank you so much, Diane. Thank you for bringing up things. And